Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a topic that's really reshaping how we work, how we live, even how we think about careers. The gig economy.
Mhm.
Maybe you're already part of it, maybe you know someone who is. Our mission today, it's basically to give you the shortcut to being truly well-informed about this quiet revolution. We've got surprising facts, fascinating insights, and yeah, hopefully just enough humor to keep you hooked.
It's absolutely everywhere, isn't it? And you know what? People hear gig economy, they often just think Uber drivers, maybe delivery folks.
Right.
But there's just so much more going on beneath the surface, deeper layers, different kinds of roles. It's a really diverse landscape.
Okay, so let's unpack that then. What exactly is the gig economy at its core?
Well, fundamentally, it's a labor market where temporary, flexible jobs are really common. Companies tend to hire independent contractors or freelancers instead of, full-time employees.
So they get paid per task or per
Mhm.
project.
Exactly. Per task, per hour, per project. And a big part of it is that workers often get to choose when and where they work. That autonomy piece is key.
And the name itself, gig,
Yeah.
where'd that actually come from?
It's actually pretty cool. It comes straight from the music industry.
Oh, right, like a band playing a show.
Precisely. A one-time performance, a show that was a gig, and that idea, that concept of a temporary one-off job was basically borrowed to describe this way of working today.
Okay, so definitely not just rock bands anymore. Give us some, concrete examples of what a modern gig looks like now.
Sure. Think about a single delivery trip for Uber Eats. That's one gig.
Okay.
Or maybe a photographer doing a 3-hour photo shoot for a local brand. Or even a designer creating a logo for a startup. Short-term, task-based stuff.
Got it. And this leads us to the different types of jobs, right?
Right.
Because it's not all the same.
Not at all. You've got your rideshare drivers, yeah.
Yeah.
Using apps like Uber, Lyft, using their own cars.
Flexible hours, but they cover their own costs.
Exactly. Huge flexibility, but yeah, they're on the hook for fuel, maintenance, and crucially, no benefits. Then you've got delivery workers, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or, regional ones like Rappi or iFood.
Picking up food, packages.
Right. Often on bikes or scooters, especially in cities. Very visible.
Heck, what else?
Then there's a massive group. Freelancers. This is huge. Writers, designers, developers, translators, social media managers.
So more project-based work found online.
Yeah, often through platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. A lot of it's remote, and pay really depends on experience. We also see task-based workers using apps like TaskRabbit or Thumbtack.
What kind of tasks?
Oh, all sorts. Assembling furniture, fixing things, editing a quick video, one-off jobs people need help with.
Interesting.
And increasingly, we're seeing online teachers, tutors, and consultants. People using platforms like Preply or Teachable, basically turning their knowledge into income.
Makes sense.
And finally, a very visible category, content creators, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon.
Ah, the influencers and creators.
Yeah, earning through ads, sponsorships, fan support. It can start small, like a side hustle, but some build huge audiences and it becomes, a full-time, often very lucrative career.
Wow, okay. So if you're listening, what does this all really boil down to? It means the gig economy isn't just some passing fad. It's a global thing. It's changing how we think about work itself.
Absolutely.
For some people, it really is freedom, empowerment. For others, maybe more of a necessary hustle to get by.
It cuts both ways.
But either way, it definitely challenges that old model, right?
Yeah.
The idea that success means sticking with one company for decades.
Completely disrupts it.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Why now? Why has it grown so incredibly fast in recent years? It feels like it exploded.
It really did. It was like a perfect storm, basically. 3 big forces coming together, amazing new technology, major cultural shifts in how we view work, and some powerful economic pressures.
Let's break those down. Technology first.
Technology is definitely the engine. Think about smartphones, mobile apps, Uber, Upwork. They made connecting service providers and customers just effortless.
Right from your phone.
Literally.
Yeah.
Accept the job, get paid, all on your phone. Then the platforms themselves, like Fiverr, they streamlined everything, finding clients, managing payments.
Made it easier to operate.
Totally. And don't forget payment gateways like PayPal or Stripe. Suddenly, it was easy to get paid across borders. That really unlocked a global job market.
Effortless and global.
Yeah.
That's quite the combo. So does that mean someone could genuinely be working for a client on the other side of the world without leaving home? Can you paint a picture?
Oh, absolutely. Picture this. A video editor sitting in Brazil,
Okay.
using online tools Frame.io for reviews, Google Drive for files. They can create content for a YouTube channel based in the US. They get paid in dollars. They never left their
Oh,
house.
now, technology just dissolved the distance.
Pretty much. But it wasn't just tech. There's also been this huge cultural shift.
Now,
Well, attitudes towards work are just different now. Especially with millennials and Gen Z, there's this new focus on flexibility over stability.
yeah, I see that. Less about the gold watch after 30 years.
Exactly. Many people don't crave that traditional 9 to 5 security if it means giving up personal freedom. They want purpose, autonomy. They want to design a lifestyle and have work fit into it, not the other way around.
That's a big change from previous generations.
Huge contrast. Older generations often tied success to staying loyal to one company for decades.
You really see this with the whole digital nomad trend, don't you?
Perfect example. Freelance writers, coaches, designers, working while traveling, using co-working spaces in Bali, Lisbon, Medellin.
Designing their work around their life? Literally.
Exactly. And then there are the economic forces. Can't ignore those.
Okay, what are they?
For companies, honestly, it's often cheaper. Hiring gig workers means they only pay for the work done. They avoid costs like health insurance, retirement plans, long-term contracts.
So it cuts their overheads.
Significantly.
Hmm.
And for workers? Well, sometimes it's a necessity. During crises like COVID or recessions, traditional jobs disappear.
Right.
The gig economy becomes a lifeline. Plus, with inflation and wages not always keeping up, more people need side hustles just to make ends meet or supplement their income.
We saw that so clearly during the first COVID lockdowns, didn't we?
Oh, vividly. Millions lost jobs almost overnight.
And what did they do?
Many immediately turned to delivery driving, online tutoring, selling crafts on Etsy, whatever they could do quickly to bring in some money. It was a critical safety net for so many.
That really underscores the necessity part. But okay, beyond just surviving, what are the real upsides? Why do people actively choose this, even when maybe a traditional job is available? What's the pull?
Well, the number one reason, overwhelmingly, is flexibility and autonomy.
Being your own boss, basically.
Pretty much. You control your schedule, you choose when you work, where you work, maybe even which clients or projects you take on. You're not tied to one boss, one company policy.
Mhm.
For a lot of people, that freedom is just priceless.
I can definitely see the appeal. How does that flexibility actually play out in someone's day-to-day life? Like if you're juggling family or just want a different rhythm?
It can be transformative. Imagine a freelance graphic designer. Maybe they work in intense bursts for a few hours, take a break to pick up kids or go to an appointment, then finish up later in the evening.
Right, fitting work around life.
Exactly. Or that digital nomad hopping from Bali to Lisbon whenever they feel like it. This control is incredibly valuable for parents, caregivers, students, anyone who needs or wants more agency over their time, people with chronic illnesses or disabilities too.
Okay, flexibility is number one. What else?
Another big one is diverse income sources. Unlike a traditional job with one paycheck.
Right, all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Gig workers often juggle multiple gigs, maybe driving for Uber in the morning, tutoring online in the afternoon, doing some freelance writing at night.
So multiple streams of income.
Yes, which fundamentally reduces your financial risk. If one source dries up temporarily, you hopefully have others to fall back on. You're not totally dependent on one employer.
And this is where the whole side hustle idea really shines, isn't it? People using gigs to add to their main income, or maybe even try out a business idea.
Absolutely. Think about someone with a regular 9 to 5 marketing job. Maybe they start freelancing as a social media manager on the side in the evenings or weekends.
Testing the waters.
Yeah, they build skills, a portfolio, maybe earn some decent extra cash, and potentially that side hustle could grow into their main thing, or even the launch pad for their own agency down the line.
Interesting. What about skills? Does gig work help you learn new things?
Oh, constantly. That's skill development. You have to wear so many hats. You're not just the writer or the designer, you're also the marketer, the salesperson, the negotiator, the bookkeeper.
You have to run your own mini business.
You really do. You learn to adapt super quickly. Different clients, different industries, new software tools all the time. Freelancers often build incredibly diverse portfolios, which actually makes them more attractive for future gigs or even traditional jobs. It forces you to become a self-starter, a better communicator, just more resourceful.
Okay, and you mentioned launching an agency. Is that a common path?
Yeah.
Does gig work lead to entrepreneurship?
Very often, yes. It acts as an amazing entrepreneurial pathway. Once you build up a decent client base or maybe a following, if you're a creator,
You can scale it.
exactly. You can start creating your own products, maybe offer online courses based on your expertise, launch a full agency, build a personal brand. Many successful entrepreneurs started freelancing, saw a common problem their clients had, and then built a bigger business to solve it.
That's a really powerful progression. But I have to ask, does that path always lead to, like, true freedom? Or can it just become a different kind of intense hustle, always chasing the next client, the next level?
That's a great question. And yeah, it absolutely touches on the downsides, which we definitely need to get into. But purely in terms of opportunity, imagine a freelance copywriter.
Okay.
They start just writing blog posts. Then they notice clients really struggle with persuasive writing, so they create an online course about it.
Ah, leveraging their expertise.
Right. Then they build a personal brand around that expertise, maybe start getting speaking gigs. Eventually, they launch their own marketing consulting firm. Or maybe they read a book, start a YouTube channel, offer high-ticket coaching. Lots of potential paths branch out from that initial gig work. It's about spotting that next step.
Okay. Okay. The potential is clear. But like you said, every silver lining. Now let's talk about the cloud. What are the significant obstacles, the darker side of gig work that maybe isn't so obvious from the outside?
Well, the biggest and often the most underestimated cost of that flexibility is the lack of benefits.
Right. No safety net.
Exactly. Gig workers typically don't get health insurance, especially in the US, where that's often tied to employers. Buying it on your own can be incredibly expensive.
And it's not just health insurance, is it?
No, it's also no paid vacation, no paid sick days, no contributions to retirement plans, no unemployment protection if work dries up.
Wow.
It's not just inconvenient, it forces a massive shift in personal financial responsibility. You have to manage all that yourself, saving for retirement, covering sick time, handling taxes. It fundamentally changes your long-term security, and many people aren't prepared for that.
So let's make that real. If a freelance designer, say, gets really sick or has an accident, what happens?
It's stark. Their income likely stops immediately. There's no paid sick leave cushion, no short-term disability from an employer. They're completely on their own to cover recovery time and potentially huge medical bills.
Yeah.
All the risk is on them.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. What else?
Then there's income instability. It's
Yeah.
often very unpredictable.
Feast or famine.
Very much so. You might have a great month, land a big project, then the next month, maybe nothing. It makes financial planning incredibly difficult. Demand fluctuates, competition waxes and wanes. Sometimes clients just pay late.
And that must make people really vulnerable to bigger shocks, right? Like external events.
Totally. Think about the pandemic again, or an economic downturn.
Yeah.
During those initial COVID lockdowns, rideshare drivers, their income vanished overnight. Cities shut down, nobody was traveling, no work, no pay. Harsh reality without that traditional job security buffer.
Okay, so financial instability, lack of benefits. What about the day-to-day experience? Can it be isolating?
Definitely. Isolation and burnout are major issues. A lot of gig work is solitary. You're working from home, maybe in a coffee shop.
No colleagues around the water cooler?
Exactly. No team camaraderie, no casual office chats. That can lead to loneliness, feeling detached. And then there's the hustle culture.
Yes, the always be grinding mentality.
Oh, right. This immense pressure to constantly be finding the next gig, marketing yourself, staying visible. It leads to chronic stress. The boundaries between work and personal life just get completely blurred.
And that blurring, that constant pressure.
Yeah.
It must take a mental toll, right?
Yeah.
What are the impacts on mental health?
It's significant. It's that always-on feeling. You feel like you should be working or available or producing or marketing yourself 24/7.
Guilty if you take a break.
Yeah. A freelance writer might feel guilty for not pitching new clients over the weekend, terrified their income will drop next month if they don't. This constant pressure cooker environment really ups the risk for burnout, anxiety, depression, even imposter syndrome.
Okay. And finally, are there issues with, like, the rules, the legal side?
Yes, big time. Regulatory issues. The legal systems, the governments, they just haven't really kept pace with this new way of working.
It's kind of a gray area.
Very much so. In many places, gig workers aren't legally classified as employees. They're independent contractors.
Which
Means the platform companies often don't have to provide traditional labor protections, minimum wage in some cases, overtime pay, collective bargaining rights, unemployment insurance, the things employees usually get. It saves the platforms money but leaves workers vulnerable.
and it's different everywhere.
Hugely inconsistent globally. Support systems vary wildly. And often, workers can be dropped from a platform deactivated with little notice or recourse. They have very little bargaining power individually.
This is that whole debate many of us have heard about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in the U.S., employee versus contractor.
Yeah.
We saw years of court battles in California over Uber drivers with Prop 22. It really highlights how complex this legal definition is and how much hinges on which side of that line gig workers fall.
Exactly. It's a fundamental battle over the definition of work in the 21st century.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Beyond the money, beyond the practicalities,
Mm.
how does this gig way of life actually reshape someone's identity, their daily rhythm? What's the deeper psychological, social impact?
That's a really important layer. It definitely brings about a significant identity shift.
How so?
In the old model, your job title was often a big part of your identity. I'm a teacher. I work at IBM. Clear labels.
Right.
In the gig economy, identity becomes much more fluid, multifaceted. Someone might be a yoga instructor and a content creator and a dog walker.
So less defined by one role.
Yeah, people start defining themselves more by the job title or the company they work for.
That sounds potentially liberating for some, like you're not stuck in one box. But could it also feel, I don't know, confusing, insecure, like you're a bit fragmented without that steady label or clear career ladder?
Absolutely, it can cut both ways. Liberating for some, unsettling for others. And related to that is this idea of work-life integration, not balance.
Integration, not balance. What's the difference?
Well, balance implies two separate things you try to keep even. Integration suggests they just blend together. In gig work, the line often vanishes.
Because your work is your life, in a way.
Often, yeah. Your business is you. Your time could always be spent earning. So you find yourself checking client emails at midnight. You take a day off but feel guilty for not pitching or creating. Vacations become workcations where you're still checking in. Weekends might not feel different from weekdays.
That sounds like it makes it incredibly difficult to mentally switch off, to truly rest.
It really does.
It must lead to more stress, that constant low-level hum of work, maybe guilt when you're not working. So what's the real mental health toll of this always-on reality?
The emotional toll is very real, and we touched on it with burnout, but it goes deeper. There's the ongoing stress from income insecurity. Will I make rent this month? There's the feeling of chaos that can come from lacking a fixed routine or structure. And especially in creative fields, the pressure from perfectionism, comparing yourself to others online, that can lead to real self-doubt, imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that comparison trap seems particularly potent for creators and freelancers online.
Huge. So to actually thrive in this environment, it's not just about being good at your craft. Gig workers have to actively cultivate strategies, like learning to separate their sense of self-worth from their hourly rate or their productivity level that day.
That's crucial.
They need to intentionally build community, find support networks, other freelancers, online groups, whatever works. And critically, they have to create structure and routine for themselves because no boss is going to impose it. It takes enormous self-discipline and proactive self-care.
Right. So looking ahead then, we've seen the rise, the pros, the cons, the impact. Where is this all headed? What might the future of work look like as the gig economy keeps evolving?
Well, one big trend we're already seeing is the rise of hybrid careers.
Hybrid, meaning?
Meaning it's less either traditional job or gig work and more both-hand. People combining multiple types of work.
Like keeping a part-time job, but also freelancing.
Exactly. Or maybe doing some corporate consulting alongside teaching an online course and selling products on Etsy. It's about mixing and matching.
That sounds powerful, actually. Diversify your income, reduce risk, maybe pursue passions while still having some stability. Can you give an example?
Sure. Think of a university lecturer. Maybe they teach 2 days a week. That's their stable base. But they also freelance as an editor for academic journals, and on weekends, they run online workshops about research methods.
Building a custom career path.
Precisely. Blending different strengths, different income streams, fitting their lifestyle goals.
Okay. What other forces are shaping the future? AI has to be in there somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. AI and automation will be a massive force. Technology is going to reshape gig work, no question.
For better or worse?
Both, probably. Some tasks, simple, repetitive ones like basic data entry, standard transcription, maybe some routine graphic design, those are likely at risk of being automated or significantly changed by AI tools.
Okay, so some jobs might shrink.
Yes. But AI will also create entirely new opportunities for gig workers.
Like,
We'll see more need for roles like AI management, people who can oversee and refine AI output, creative direction for AI-generated content, AI prompt engineers, people skilled at getting the best results from AI, virtual community moderators for online platforms powered by AI, new roles we can't even fully imagine yet.
So the message isn't really AI is coming for your gig, but more like adapt, learn to work with it.
That's exactly it. The successful gig workers of the future will be those who figure out how to leverage AI tools to enhance their unique human skills. Creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, rather than trying to compete with AI on repetitive tasks. Adaptation is key.
Okay. What else is on the horizon? Anything more radical?
Well, something that's getting more serious discussion is universal basic income, or UBI.
UBI, providing everyone a basic income floor.
Yeah, a guaranteed monthly income, regardless of whether you're employed or not. It's a pretty radical idea, but it's being considered more seriously, especially in the context of automation potentially displacing jobs, and particularly relevant for gig workers who lack those traditional safety nets. It could provide a basic level of security.
It sounds theoretical, but has anyone actually tried it? Are there real-world trials?
There have been trials in places like Finland, Canada, parts of the US, even Brazil. And while the results are debated and context matters, many trials have shown some positive outcomes, things like reduced stress levels, improved health, sometimes even increased entrepreneurial activity, as people have a safety net to fall back on while starting something new.
Interesting. So it's not just a pipe dream.
It's moving beyond pure theory, yes. And another important trend is workers organizing themselves.
How so?
In response to feeling exploited or lacking protection, we're seeing the rise of cooperatives and unions specifically for gig workers.
Workers banding together.
Exactly. They're forming digital cooperatives platforms that are actually owned and governed by the workers themselves, not a big tech company. And new kinds of unions or worker associations are popping up, demanding better pay, fair contracts, transparency in how platform algorithms work.
Fighting back, essentially.
Yeah.
Have they had any successes?
Yes, definitely. You see examples like Up and Go, which is a cleaning services cooperative owned by the cleaners in New York City, or advocacy groups like the Gig Workers Collective pushing hard for legislation. And in Europe, we've seen courts in some countries actually rule that platforms like Uber must treat their drivers as employees with the rights that come with that.
So a push towards more ethical platforms.
That's the long-term vision, yeah. Worker-centric platforms, fairer conditions, more collective power.
Okay, this has been fascinating looking at the mechanics in the future. Let's zoom out globally for a minute. Does the gig economy look the same everywhere, or does it function differently in different parts of the world?
Oh, it looks very different depending on where you are. It's definitely not one size fits all.
Give us some examples. How about somewhere like Brazil?
Right. Brazil saw this massive boom in app-based delivery, especially during the pandemic. Platforms like iFood, Rappi, Uber Eats, they became a vital lifeline when millions lost traditional jobs.
Why so big there?
High smartphone penetration made it easy for people to sign up and start working quickly. But it's tough. Workers face long hours, often low pay relative to costs, and there have been significant protests demanding better conditions, insurance, accident protection, more transparent payment calculations. It's really changed city life and sparked huge debates about labor rights there.
Okay. What about, say, the U.S. and Europe? Is it different?
Yeah, in the US and Europe, while delivery is big, there's also a huge emphasis on remote freelancing and digital services. Knowledge work.
Like the writers, designers, consultants we talked about.
Exactly. Tech, marketing, creative services. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, TopTal are huge. The big shift to remote work during COVID really accelerated companies' use of freelancers here. It offers location freedom, high earning potential for skilled workers.
But the legal battles are ongoing.
Very much so. Europe has generally been a bit more proactive. You see things like the UK defining dependent contractors with some rights, or Spain forcing platforms to classify delivery riders as employees. In the US, it's still fiercely debated state by state, case by case, like with California's Prop 22.
Got it. One more. How about somewhere like India?
India is another place where the gig economy is absolutely exploding, driven by, again, rapid smartphone adoption, but also high youth unemployment. Platforms for ride-sharing like Ola and food delivery like Zomato and Swiggy are massive.
Is it seen as positive there?
It's very much a dual reality. For some, it's empowering, a way to earn money they couldn't otherwise. But for many others, it's incredibly precarious.
What are the big issues?
Similar themes, often missing labor rights and safety nets, reports of exploitation, very long hours for low effective pay, unclear contracts or terms of service that can change suddenly. There's a growing call for regulation and unionization, but government action on protecting digital workers has been relatively slow so far.
Wow. What a complex, truly global, and rapidly evolving picture. It's clear this whole gig economy thing is, well, it's a mix, isn't it?
Right.
Amazing freedom and opportunity on one side, but also really significant, deeply human challenges on the other.
It really is. And it forces us, I think, to fundamentally redefine what we mean by work, what success looks like, how we build a meaningful life. To really make it work for them, gig workers have to learn some tough lessons.
Like what?
Like separating their self-worth from their daily earnings or how productive they were, like actively seeking out and building community and support networks, because isolation is a real risk. And maybe most importantly, creating structure, routine, boundaries for themselves. It demands adaptability, sure, but
Yeah.
also continuous learning and maybe seeking collective strength, not just celebrating rugged independence.
That's a really powerful thought to end on. Separating worth from productivity, building community, creating your own structure. So, for everyone listening, perhaps something to mull over. How might these huge shifts impact your own career, the future of work as you see it, and even the communities right around you?
Definitely food for thought.
Indeed. Well, thank you for that incredible deep dive, and thank you all for joining us.
Ow.
Until next time.